2022. Alongside the great Cedric Burke, I'm Dean Linke, and here we go. Soccer season rolling from Dorrance Field. A beautiful Carolina blue from head to toe. The Tar Heels with a 2-1 win over Denver and a 3-2 come-from-behind win over Colorado. 2-0 to start the season. And in talking to Damon Nahas, I think he's right. Best way to start after all the emotion of Anson Dorrance. Start on the road, forget about everything, and just go out and get a couple wins.
Yep, Coach Nahas said the best thing for them was to get out of town. Get out of town, clear their heads, be away from that emotion, get 2 solid wins. Now they come home and they're ready to face this. And Dean, they are going at it out of the gate. From that opening whistle, there is not much space out here. They are closing space very quickly.
A moment ago, that was Kate Fossey who had a brace in that 3-2 win over Colorado. We'll get it wide left, sent in over top of Olivia Thomas, the highly heralded recruit a year ago out of Michigan. Actually played against Savvy King in the ECNL U19 National Championship game 2 years ago. Savvy King marked her. Of course, Savvy, after one fantastic season, now getting it done in the NWSL, which is changed the look a little bit of college soccer. You're seeing some of that where players will play 1 or 2 years and then head to the pros.
Yeah, I mean, just with the transfer rules, NIL and everything, the landscape has completely changed where there's pro opportunities opening up. You know, we expect even more of that with the announcement today at the professional level. But, you know, between transfer opportunities, there is more opportunity than ever, you know, for these athletes to find a place where they fit.
Thomas, just a presence as a center forward. They play it back in, and it's stopped by Jordan Brown, former Nevada Gatorade Player of the Year in high school back in 2019 and 20. A junior out of Las Vegas, Faith Lutheran High School.
Well, she picked up right where she left off. She faced 18 shots last game, kept a clean sheet. Coach McAlpine was extremely complimentary on her overall impact on the program. You know, she's helped shift and change the trajectory of our program. She's consistent, she's calm, and she can play quite a driven long ball.
North Carolina rips it out of the middle as Bella Sember, really the lone returning starter, as Della Rose was kind of in and out of the starting lineup, and a couple nicks and knocks as well. But man, she was wonderful in the TST.
She was electric, and you know, many of her teammates were her idols, and for her to come out as MVP and just quite the summer, not only MVP but named best 7 of the tournament.
Even Alvarez, who won the W League championship for the North Carolina Courage, drops it to Olivia Thomas, who had 2 assists against Colorado and just a little bit high.
Well, that's one of Coach Nahas' offensive keys of the game, is to take quality chances and execute. The chance was there. The build-up and incredible looked great. Just a little bit lacking on the execution. Got to put those away. Great through ball from Alvarez. Thomas wishes she could have that one back. And we see immediately in terms of line of confrontation from UNC, they are not letting Georgia play out of the back. And one of their focuses is they want to pin them in, especially in this defensive third.
In the middle of the park by North Carolina, but then turned over. Georgia, again in the dark uniforms. North Carolina in their home whites. They try to play it over the top to Maddie Baker from Mission Viejo, California. One of several transfers from Vanderbilt that are now on Kidani McAlpine's Georgia Bulldogs team. Played to the feet of Tessa Della Rose, number 34. She gives it up. And now it'll find Aria Nagai, the Princeton transfer, grad student. North Carolina, they definitely do have the pedal to the metal, or metal to the pedal. I mean, you're right, front foot for the Tar Heels to start here.
Well, you look at, you know, they pass over at midfield. Their entire team is, you know, they're really condensing the space. They want to, and one of their focuses, they lose it, they're going to repress, and they're immediately going to make their defensive pressure, create another offensive opportunity. So they essentially want to smother this Georgia attack coming out of the back.
Kidani McAlpine admitted that he was going to take a look, Cedric Burke, at how they dealt with the press before deciding to go long distance. And early on, I don't think he likes the look.
Does not at all.
There he is. Kidani McAlpine won the national championship in 2016 at Southern Cal, just the second ever national championship for Southern Cal. Big time coach, and Georgia, not exactly a preeminent power. They came calling. Kidani's originally from the South, wanted to get back there. They made it worth his while, and they have a great coach in Kidani McAlpine.
Phenomenal. Absolute pleasure speaking with him about this game leading up and just the plan for his program. Now in year three, their system has been installed, and now they're looking for results.
And the guy, that was Bella Sember, number 18.
Bella Sember also was on that TST team with Della Rose, and she is a powerful 10 in that middle. She can shoot from anywhere, anytime she has the ball. That is a scoring opportunity.
This is played back to Alvarez, who was all over the field for the North Carolina Courage in the W League final. A 3-2 win at WRAL Soccer Park less than a month ago. Willie Davis, the fine coach of that team. That shot just a little too high. Early doors, just 7 or so minutes as you take a look at Sember, the senior from Centerport, New York. Game-winning goal against Denver. Game-winning assist against Colorado. Pretty good start to the season for number 18.
Oh, absolutely. And Coach Nehas's team, they are executing this game plan to a T in this first 5 minutes. Look how quickly they get back into attack. It is immediate winning it back, repress, find the space.
There's a rip from Georgia. Let's see if they can do anything with it, as Hannah White will give it up. Hannah White, 4 years at Southern Cal before transferring into Georgia. This will be played back to Wynn.
And just right on cue, Hannah White leads the press of this team. You know, she's the one that's going to set the tone in the midfield in terms of how they press, where they go, at the cadence and pace. And she wins that ball back and immediately gets a teammate into the open field.
Another ball taken away by Georgia, this time on the right side. As they play it up top, trying to find Margie DeTrizio, who spent 4 years at Washington State, third team Pac-12 last year, second team in 22. She is part of the Utah Royals youth program.
And they'll really try to utilize her not only as a box forward to set the positioning at the top of the pitch, but also to stretch as they can open this up and find some more space.
Damon Nehas showing Kidani McAlpine something a little different than on the road. They started with 3 in the back those first 2 games. They start with 4 in the back in this game, trying to mix it up. Great ball down the middle, 1 extra pass. Thomas, and the flag is up. Olivia Thomas, who had 2 helpers against Colorado, including one in the 89th minute offside.
And Thomas has to do a better job there of holding her line, knowing where she is, as she has the best vantage point. An incredible build from the Tar Heels. Really 2 passes through the midfield. They were into the counter and were into the 18.
Sergio Gonzalez, the man in the middle, your referee. Gabriel Rivera on one line. Really good pace to this game. And while there are a few clouds in the sky, I mean, it's hot, but it's not super hot, Cedric. It's a really kind of nice afternoon for a big-time soccer match.
Beautiful fall day. A little bit of a crisp chill this morning. The humidity's gone. This is soccer time.
So play all the way back. Bella Gattino, Trinity Armstrong, a couple of freshmen back there. If you're good enough, you're old enough, has always been the mentality of North Carolina. A couple of these freshmen should still be seniors in high school.
Yeah, I believe 2/3 of that back line reclassified.
It's Trinity Armstrong on it now, the freshman from Frisco, Texas. She should be a senior in high school. Spent time at IMG, which always gets you ready. Della Rose will drop it back. Emerson Elgin, the redshirt junior. Linda Allmark, another freshman. She's from Buffalo. Good challenge on the far side. Good ball on the far side. Headed just over. As trying to get on top of that was Kate Fossey, who's got 2 goals already.
Need another great offensive opportunity for the Tar Heels. This is a great ball behind the overload, opposite side of the pitch. Kate Fossey almost picked up where she left off in that last 5 minutes of the most recent game. Those 2 goals.
Yeah, scoring in
At the 88th and
41 seconds left. Yeah. She's played a lot. She played 83 minutes in the game against Denver, 79 minutes in the game against Colorado.
Well, she has such an imposing physical presence. We saw it right there on that set piece opportunity.
All the way through, and it'll be played back to Armstrong. Armstrong will drop it back to Nagai. Armstrong sitting next to Gattino. A lot of you ACC fans will recognize that Gattino name. Her sister, big-time player for Nate Norman and Notre Dame. Over the top, trying to find Thomas. Thomas, great speed. First times it. I love that. But it'll go right to Jordan Brown.
Dean, everything but the finish. Phenomenal ball over the top. Backspin, nice pace on it, allowed her to run under it. Brown made a great save.
Brown sends it long. It's Gattino with the header. Della Rose just got enough to get it over to Elgin.
We can already see the calming presence. Both Della Rose and the guy have in this midfield. Della Rose moving in as a winger now in one of the 6 positions. Just so calm on the ball, quickly finding a teammate in the right position.
This is really clean right now by the Tar Heels. And then a little extra gear coming from Elgin. Georgia ready for it. Can't get it by Della Rose, who is everywhere.
Dean, one thing that's been really impressive thus far is just the overall team movement in these Tar Heels. One thing Coach Nahas really stresses is just the interpersonal relationships, between players. When he's breaking down a system, not looking at the totality of the 11, but the player closest to you in that relationship and what do they want it, and learning those movements, and you can see that throughout the field.
What an incredible turn, a Trinity Rodman type turn, far side for the Tar Heels.
Very Trinity Rodman-esque.
We'll talk more about the USA gold medal team at halftime, which featured a couple Tar Heels and a Bulldog on the roster. Della Rose on the same page that time with Thomas. Cedric, I know it's early doors, but there are a lot of neat, tidy, technical players on both teams.
Oh yeah, there's so much talent on this pitch tonight.
Kept alive by the extra effort from Thomas.
Speaking of extra effort, I would have loved to hear Coach Nahas' pregame speech, because this team came out ready to play, and not only play, but to send a message. It's very clear.
Set back in to the 18. Still alive. It'll be a throw in for the Tar Heels. Weekend before their first game, Anson Dorrance deciding to hang it up, very similar to the way Dean Smith did it in October before the basketball season, handing the reins down to Bill Guthridge. I was already living here then, and I remember that like it was yesterday, and I think I'll always remember the announcement with Anson, and then even better, the press conference. What an incredible job by our production team with the open, catching just some great sound bites from Mr. Soundbite, Anson Dorrance. Cut back in, Georgia. And the shot coming from distance there by Baker. And those Vanderbilt transfers. And it'll be Claire Gagne, who is from Brown.
I'll tell you what, Coach McAlpine mentioned that Baker was great with her feet and probably a little bit better defender than attacker, but that was quite a move. She had to put herself into space and gave herself a pretty clear offensive opportunity.
There's Kadani McAlpine on the bench. Jason Lockhart has been with them along the way. Washington State, Southern Cal. Kat Crump also over there. A little higher press coming from the visitors.
Definitely a higher press, and the first time they've really had UNC pinned in their back third and having difficulty building out of the back. Let's see how UNC solves this puzzle.
Enough pressure to help them win it back. Get it out of there by Armstrong. Good turn. White, listed at 5'10", looks even taller. Good step up from that back line, backed up there was Staudy, Gilbert, and Hardin. Part of the three-back in front of Jordan Brown for Coach McAlpine.
Very good anticipation to step in. If she doesn't win that ball, we might be off to the races again.
Kiera Staudy, part of the U.S. Youth National Team, part of the Concord Fire, who had 3 players on the U.S. Women's gold medal team. Push it wide again to Baker. Baker with the left foot, deflected. This will fall back now to Hardin. Perhaps another chance for Baker. She'll bring it back. Nobody home as Torbert, transfer from UCLA, will send it in. Look at Claire Gagne from Minnesota, transfer from Brown. Talk to Chris Ducar, who's back on the bench, took a couple years off as the GM, and now kind of has both roles. And then great to catch up with Tracy Bates-Leone as they play it over the top. Flag is going to stay down for Thomas. Thomas timed it perfectly. Thomas once again right to Jordan Brown. And you can see that power and that force starting to pep up for North Carolina.
Absolutely, and Georgia's got to be careful with this high line they're playing, because Ashley Thomas can outright zip open the field and create those opportunities at will, and that ball over the top always seems to be open.
There's Thomas, also showing the ability to check back, hold it up for her Tar Heel team.
And that's the dynamic which really helps them build and falls within their style of play.
The guy gets it over to Alvarez. Alvarez trying to find Thomas inside the box. Delarose anticipated that pass, won it back. North Carolina starting to boss this game a little bit, but it'll go right to Jordan Brown, and Jordan Brown's a special talent. They're going to need a special shot to get one by her.
They are, and UNC is finding success mainly through the middle in a very direct style of attack. When Georgia's finding success, it is getting expansive and using the wings. Now Jordan Brown, as you mentioned, and she brings instills such a level of confidence in this back line and through the spine of this defense.
Delarose dancing on it, playing with so much confidence. I mean, it just oozes out of her.
The game has slowed down for her. You know, they're really expecting a big leap from her in this junior year. She already has a goal and assist on the season, but just her pace, she looks so comfortable.
3 times 100, Cedric Burke. Delarose finds Sember. I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot this year. Taken away. Sember just stumbled. Georgia. Those of you ACC fans that know the ACC is the power conference in women's soccer or even men's soccer, I'm telling you, SEC over the last 3 to 5 years have made a jump that is just unbelievable.
Well, there's so much talent in that SEC footprint, and obviously these teams recruit internationally and nationally, but there's so much talent in that area of the country, and we're starting to really see it manifest itself.
Tar Heels going to take their time working it out of the back. Patino, the freshman from Dexter, Michigan. Fossey handled perfectly there by Harden.
That was great defense from Cade Harden.
What a good ball in the middle of the park. One touch and then another pass. And off Georgia goes. Numbers aren't bad right now for the Bulldogs. Look at North Carolina, they'll get those white jerseys back behind the ball.
We see Georgia starting to find pockets of space in the wing, which is opening the game up.
Flag is up, so it didn't matter as you saw Gagne come out. Flag was already up.
But we saw how that was created. They're getting expansive. The pitch opens up in the middle, and all of a sudden you have passing lanes. Good through ball, just little offsides.
Sixth all-time meeting between these two teams. North Carolina a perfect 5-0. Semicolon, however, Kadani McAlpine in that run to the 2016 title beat North Carolina 3-0. So he knows what it takes to beat the Tar Heels.
He does, and we spoke with Coach McAlpine about his scheduling. He's known for scheduling extremely tough opponents.
Olivia Thomas with the drop. Allmark, the freshman. Nichols High School, Buffalo, New York, played 66 minutes and then 77 minutes. So you can see already Damon Nahas with a ton of confidence in the freshman left-sided attacker.
We see Olivia Thomas showing another dimension of her game. We've seen her with the through ball. We've seen her holding up at the top of that box, and now the distribution as well. It makes this team so much more dynamic in the attack.
Pressure as trying to pounce on it is Sember. Sember, kind of strange bounce, but still there to touch it to Allmark with no score here.
Sember just has an unrelenting work ethic and always has a nose on the ball, it seems.
Chance to cross it with the left foot, looking for Thomas. Come all the way back to Gattino. Does not look like a freshman to me. Gattino. And back by the Tar Heels. Della Rose. Extra pass. We're going to say off in North Carolina. Goal kick coming back to Georgia.
I think Georgia may go long on this one. We'll see.
Wonderful shot of the crowd here. Dorrance Field, named after the legend that is Anson Dorrance, alongside former Duke outside back Cedric Burke. I'm Dean Linke on a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. 80 degrees, mostly sunny. It's perfect conditions, and so glad each and every one of you are with us here on ACC Network Extra for this top 20 matchup and for a celebration of the legacy that is Anson Dorrance. I mean, we already mentioned this soundbite, but what he said about his you dream about this. I mean, it's just incredible, his career.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's touching in every way. He touched so many lives. And Coach Nahas mentioned even his classes, his online videos. Coach McAlpine mentioned the same thing. He's just been a repository of information and leadership, for so many coaches, whether they know him interpersonally or just have been exposed to him in different settings. You mentioned that the coaches conventions, just always selfless and stops to speak to everyone. He's just a true ambassador of our game.
Middle of the park. Georgia will try to hang on to the ball a little bit. Sometimes you need to go backwards to go forward. They will move and come back to North Carolina. Quick Anson Dorrance story. I got an internship as a sophomore in college with U.S. Soccer. My first camp was to go to Santa Barbara and hang out with a team that Anson Dorrance was assembling 2 years prior to the first ever World Cup in '91. I walked onto the field and saw Michelle Akers cracking 40-yarders, April Heinrichs, Karen Jennings, Mia Hamm, Julie Foudy, Christine Lilly, Carla Overbeck, Lori Henry, Lyndall Hamilton. A ton of those players I just said are Tar Heels. And I fell in love. Went to that first meeting as it bounces in there. And Anson Dorrance, the first meeting I've ever been in with a soccer team, was telling his players how they're going to work so hard in this practice. True story, that their intestines are going to turn into diamonds. And Cedric, I wanted to play. I was ready to go.
Dean, I'm ready to play right now, just hearing that story.
Tracy Bates-Leon, who is now on the staff, was also on that team and at that camp. Saw her before the game for the first time since 1991, when they would go to China and absolutely demolish everybody. And then the core of that team would win the first ever Olympics for women's soccer, 96, the Atlanta Games.
It's a rare turnover for Nagai in there. She's been such a calming force.
There's good stuff here from Georgia as they get it out wide. Torbert. One ball over, still loose. If there's a black jersey there, it's 1-0. There wasn't. So sent away by North Carolina. And to be fair, Cedric, North Carolina lucky they're not down right now.
Absolutely, Dean. That was a quality opportunity right there. That ball just kind of bounced across the 6 unaccounted for.
Georgia stays with it. Harden. Back to Torbert.
For the first time, Dean, this Georgia team has been able to pin all 11 UNC players back in their defensive third.
Left side, Baker, defended by Alvarez. Baker staying with it. Alvarez. One freshman in that back line. Let's take a look at that last Georgia opportunity.
And we see Baker over on this wing. Gets a quality cross. Kate Harden almost had Hannah White rather almost had a boot on that. I think if she gets that and is able to turn, it's a goal. But that trailing run, that third man running theme, someone always being there. I'm sure that will be a point of video review this week.
See some subs. Smith in for Baker and Olivia Migley from your alma mater, Duke, the grad student from Isle Palm, South Carolina. She played 60 and 65 minutes in the first 2 games as we got an injury. Emerson Elgin down right at the top of the 18. With the injury, Sergio Gonzalez kind of issues a hydration break. There's Damon Nahas looking on. Elgin, a redshirt junior out of Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. She has played every minute of the first 2 games for the 2-0 Tar Heels. Looks to be okay. Nice crowd here, particularly right in front of us. We have the best seat in the house, pretty much right at midfield at this wonderful facility. We made a ton of changes, got rid of the track. Used to be called Fetzer Field, and of course appropriately named after the most successful college coach of all time, Anson Dorrance. Dorrance Field, Chapel Hill.
And Dean, really one of the top soccer specific complexes in the country. This is an incredible venue.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to have the tour. The locker rooms are just ridiculous. To come out. Well, you mentioned the big news coming out of the NWSL, which is, incredible. No more draft, free agency. So much that they have worked so hard for. They're now getting to the NWSL. And as I look at David Nahas, another announcement, Mason Bell, who starred here in North Carolina forever, is coming back to the North Carolina Courage. Caught a lot of her games here. The Gazelle is joining the Courage.
I did see that this morning. That is quite the pickup. Homecoming.
No surprise that the big brains of Brianna Pinto was behind the new deal. The collective bargaining agreement that was featured this morning with Robin Roberts said it had to be a thrill for Brianna, although she can handle anything, as she was joined by Alex Morgan.
I think Brianna's prepared for that stage, but she's done incredible work, both in our local community and for the game as a whole.
So it's going to be McKenna Dominguez, the senior, coming on to replace Elgin. There's a throw-in coming for the Georgia Bulldogs. Caroline Smith, who just came on from Woodstock, Georgia, Blessed Trinity High School. 50-50 ball in the middle of the park. A little toe poke coming from Fossey. Great defense there by Nagai, the Princeton transfer. 3 Ivy League transfers, part of this Tar Heel team.
The guy's got a ton of big game experience. 55 matches for the Princeton Tigers. 42 of those were starts. Her pedigree shines through.
Yeah, she looks really clean.
Very clean, connecting the lines. Always an available option as a pivot off of Della Rose in that midfield, whether they're playing as 2 6s or one of them as the pivot 8. Moves very well off of each other.
Patino. Cedric, I can't believe Gatino is a freshman. I mean, she looks like a stud out there, number 8. Plays like it as well. What a presence.
Oh, she looks like she belongs, and she's supposed to be on the stage, and she's another one of those reclassified players that was here in the spring and was able to get a spring season of training and exposure to some games, and it's really paid off.
Armstrong. Gatino sends it long. One back by North Carolina. This first half flying along is just 15 minutes remaining in the first half. Still no score. North Carolina has had more of the ball, but Georgia probably the best opportunity. And you almost feel like Kanani McAlpine is just going to write far post run at halftime. If they make the far post run like they train every day, it's 1-0 Georgia.
Yeah. And that's essentially a shooting drill in the box. Get to the line, get it between the 6 and the 12, and put it away.
Stats tell the story of North Carolina with 7 shots, 4 on goal, as Georgia didn't even get a shot, as that ball just trickled right across in front of the goal.
And I believe 5 of those 7 opportunities came in the first 10 minutes.
Back to Nagai. I don't think I've seen Nagai make a bad pass.
1 turnover all game. She's been just so calm.
Here's Migley. Carolina got a Duke player. Duke got a Carolina player. As Robbie Church has also announced that this is his last year. So another legend of the game stepping down. Robbie's going to wait till the end of the season. He's going to do the rocking chair tour, I call it.
Robbie deserves it.
He does. First class gentleman. There's Migley who drop it over. Now Migley again. Tremendous dribbling by Summer Denigan, the redshirt sophomore, transfer from Florida State.
Great dribbling, because they really had her boxed in and were ready to repress. And if they win it in that position on the field, it's a counter. And we see a counter right now coming down with Kate Fossey winning that ball.
It started with this player right here, though, Gattino.
Yeah.
She's a beast.
It's a proper footballer.
Speaking of that term, Connie McAlpine said Amber Wynn, who spent 4 years at Vanderbilt, is a proper footballer.
And that's really about the highest compliment you can get, Dean.
Yeah. You know what? Especially the way he said it. You're exactly right. Tino, another interception. So much history. '21 NCAA national championships, and then one with the AIAW, 22 total for Anson Dorrance. In the 18, North Carolina. Georgia does well to avoid a corner kick. It will be a throw in there for the Tar Heels. I mentioned Anson Dorrance. You know he's going to be here. There's his beautiful bride, Melissa, who, you know, one of his other key talking points is he didn't really like vacations, and he took a vacation. He's got grandkids now, and he's like, hey, wait a second. I'm kind of digging this. I think I can do more of this, and that was another reason why he decided to step down when he did.
Dean, what I love just from that shot right now is Olivia Thomas gets another opportunity. Just the humility, you know, to just be sitting in the crowd. He's not sitting in a box, and just taking this game in here to support his players. It's a strong example he's setting.
Anson Dorrance. He was my broadcast partner for the first game played for the Carolina Courage right here at then named Fetzer Field, along with Wendy Gebauer Palladino. And then I would also work WPS games and NWSL games with him. He's a good broadcaster too. Not exactly the best filter, but a pretty good broadcaster. I think he would even laugh with us there.
He knows more about the game than most of us could ever hope to forget. Or he's forgotten more about the game than most of us ever hope to know, right?
A little bit too casual was Armstrong that time. But won back by Della Rose, cleaning it up. North Carolina, those arms moving, chugging down. Good ball, far side, and the Tar Heels have scored. It's 1-0. Another goal from Kate Fossey. Oh, the flag is up. They're going to look at it, though. Sergio Gonzalez doesn't think so. I'm not sure about that either. So hang on to your horses.
I want to see this one again for sure. But, Dean, I love the choice here. You have an outlet out on that left side that's wide open, but you play the harder ball to Fossey across the box. What great vision. Right in the stride of her run. Tap in finish to the corner. Beating Brown, who hasn't let anything in.
Fossey was not offside. There's a chance maybe Thomas was. You know, we saw even in the Olympics with Smith and Swanson up top that even though Smith was offside and Swanson scored, they counted the goal. Yeah, see? Yeah, just a step, Thomas. But they didn't play to her.
And she didn't impact the play either.
Well, that's debatable.
It is. That's relative, whether a defender stayed back to accommodate for that run, but looked pretty clean from my vantage point.
Well, to me, this is video review. Determine if the ball has entered the goal. Offside when a goal has been scored immediately. I mean, to your point, Cedric Burke, there was less of Thomas taking away a player than Smith did when Swanson scored that goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But to your point, that is a very relative interpretation.
So no doubt Fossey's onside. It's all about whether, I mean, Thomas was offside. It's all about whether they think it impacted.
And usually when you're making that decision, you're looking at the position of the center backs. You're looking to see whether Jordan Brown adjusts her positioning based on that run. I didn't say either happened.
They're going to count it. Yeah. They're going to count it. And, you know, we just had the Olympic gold medal game as a perfect example. And now with 3 goals, Kate Fossey, the junior from Phoenix, has made it 1-0 Tar Heels.
Fossey, just relentless work ethic, making herself an available option. I mean, she had to run quite a distance from behind that ball. She made it look easy, but that wasn't the easiest ball to get to.
For Olivia Thomas.
And again, I don't want to lose sight of that assist. I mean, there were 3 viable options. Obviously, one of them would have been offsides. So finding the correct player, so you have a proper pass in terms of the assist, and then Fossey with a great finish.
3 goals already in just 3 games. Fossey getting it done for Damon Nahas. Oh, so much to soak in. Our crew is fantastic. That shot of Anson with Melissa and just how calm and relaxed they both looked. I mean, what a blessing.
Oh, yeah. He looked like he was just a regular day at the park enjoying an afternoon at the zoo or something.
And so did she.
Yeah. He's 2 weeks removed from leading this program. Well, you know what? And that's a testament that it was time. And he was prepared. And most importantly, his team didn't skip a beat. And another testament to his leadership and legacy.
Tar Heels with a 1-0 lead after the VAR. We're back. Thomas turning. Good idea. I think she might even been thinking passes.
No, that was a pass, and what a phenomenal turn to create space for herself, and that is another attribute that Ashley Thomas has up top. She can create her own space.
Penny. Player Damon Nahas really high on the freshman out of Miami, Florida, Our Lady of Lourdes Academy. Nahas spent a little extra time on Penny when he was breaking down the subs.
He did. She was definitely a focal point, not only for this game, but what he expects her trajectory to be and impact to be on the program.
Well, and one of the things he said was she's had an incredible week of practice. And as you know, with the legendary competitive Cauldron, the trickle down from Anson and how much practice matters to play for North Carolina.
Well, that's important, you know, with a large roster. You want to keep everyone engaged. You want to keep everyone ready for their opportunity when it happens. You know, as you mentioned, Penny was a number 33 recruit in the country last year.
Good switch. Perfect switch to find Penn. Tory Penn was into trouble, and it'll be no problem for Gagne.
And look at Fossey. What an unselfish play. She's back on her 18, winning that ball back.
This is Migley. Coming out of bounds. So they'll come back to the Bulldogs. They find themselves down in this one 1-0, and they find themselves still looking for their first goal of the year. Started with a 0-0 tie against Randy Waldron and the Pitt Panthers.
And this last 7 or so minutes could be pretty frenetic. Looks like space has really opened up after that goal. Georgia most certainly wants to try to get one back. They're not going to press. You know, they're going to earn it. They're going to stick to their game plan. But it is important to finish this half off on a strong note.
The Bulldogs trying to combine. And it's going to go out of bounds. North Carolina managing these final 7 minutes.
And that's where Georgia's been successful right there. Get expansive, get it to the wing, find an interior mid, and then we go back outside.
These two teams last met in the 2022 NCAA tournament second round at Tar Heels winning that game 3-1. Georgia coming off first ever visit to the Sweet 16 and their first ever SEC tournament title. A big time year under Keidani McAlpine. Beautiful touches here. Eventually finds Thomas. Thomas trying to close after losing the ball.
Well, Thomas and Fossey, again, she's covering so much space to win balls back.
Fossey thought she had earned it. Instead, it would be a throw-in for the Bulldogs, who trail 1-0. Fossey, the goal scorer. Kenna Dominguez with the assist. Keidani McAlpine and Georgia fans probably aren't going to like me saying it, but our crew did such a good job showing multiple looks. By the end of it, I even felt like Thomas was onside. I think they got it right.
I think they absolutely got it right.
Played into space. Della Rose. So calm, so cool. Ice in the veins. Turnover here. Georgia taken away by, I think, a player that can already put her name in the running for ACC Freshman of the Year, and Bella Gattino. Don't always give it to defenders, but she's had an impact on this game.
She absolutely has had an impact, Dean.
Nice and calm there from Jordan Brown.
And that was one of the attributes Coach McAlpine really stressed, is her calmness. You know, she instills so much confidence in this team, knowing she's back there and so composed behind them. That was a beautiful distribution.
Stay with us at halftime as you'll get another look at the goal from Fossey, but also we will look back at what seems like yesterday. Emma Hayes and the U.S. women winning the gold medal over in France. Straight out of the Zach Galifianakis breaking camp. I was over there, Cedric Burke.
Oh, yeah?
Every game but the gold medal game.
I love it, man. I love it.
Played into space here. Hannah White, 5'10" grad student. Transfer from Southern Cal. Back by North Carolina. 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in what has been a really nice first half. One that you wondered if there'd be extra jitters, knowing that it's the first time North Carolina has been home since the announcement of Anson Dorrance stepping down. 45 seasons, 47 overall. You got to remember, he started as the men's coach and at one point was running both programs.
And Dean, to your point, I think the way they approached and came out for this game, they played the jitters out. You know, they imposed their will immediately. Didn't even allow themselves to develop jitters.
Well, you are always right, Cedric, but you've never been more right. They really did. They came out and they were running downhill from the opening whistle, right?
Everything was proactive.
Even Nahas getting his steps in over in front of the UNC bench. He was like that even as the assistant with Anson Dorrance, as Anson would go out of his way the last 3-4 years to say that Damon Nahas has taken a ton of the workload. Tar Heels with under 2 minutes remaining, trying to add to that 1-0 lead.
And Dean, to your point with Coach Nahas, I mean, we spoke about the transition and asked how that was going. And first thing he said was the transition started happening years ago. We're in a position where Anson left us in such a great position. My sole focus can be on the players.
Asha Means, the daughter of Natro Means, a pretty good football player here for the Tar Heels and in the NFL, is into the game.
She is a physical force and presence just like her father.
Yeah, as a youth player, played up front, but all of her time in North Carolina has been listed as a back, and Damon's like, no, she can come in and particularly after Olivia Thomas runs wild and bang a little bit, maybe we can get something out of her. I love it.
Well, and she's, power and finesse. She's the one that's really going to open it up and stretch and create those opportunities and may not play the same hold-up positioning that Olivia Thomas does, but is just as dynamic. She's been dealing with some injuries. So let's see what kind of impact she can have in these last few minutes.
Tyler Rose is just so good. She makes that pass forward. Second pass coming from Sember, taken away, and it'll come back to the Bulldogs, who trail 1-0 with just about 20 seconds remaining here in what has been a fast-paced first half at Dorrance Field. Good turn by White. Taken away by Armstrong, who, say it again, should be a senior in high school. 1-0 halftime lead. Your thought on the first 45, Cedric?
I thought, both teams found success. I thought UNC had the better possession for the first 15 and evened out. We saw a great goal opportunity from Georgia. And then more towards the end, we saw UNC take control again. So I think results pretty fair based on what we saw.
Fossey with a brace against Colorado, and the only goal so far for Damon Nahas. Anson Dorrance in the house here at Dorrance Field. Coming up, we'll take a look at Damon Nahas, the Olympic success, and the first half highlights. 1-0 Tar Heels on top of Georgia.
Greatness is a feeling, a moment, a choice, unrelenting. A team effort. Greatness is accomplishing on this field and this one. Greatness is more than winning the game. It's changing it. Greatness is what we do. Accomplish.
Dorrance Field. Carolina Blue Skies in Chapel Hill. Always great to be with my man Cedric Burke. My name's Dean Linke. College soccer season, favorite time of the year on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. This kind of day, Cedric, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, they might be able to get 3 minutes out of him. I mean, it's not that bad of conditions.
Hey, maybe even 4.
Well, let's not push it. Youngsters in the back. Trinity Armstrong and Bella Gattino. Freshman center backs. I mean, Savvy Kane came in, started center back. Macy Bell, day one when she was here, came in as a freshman and started. So it's not something new for North Carolina. Might be new to have 2 of them back there side by side, though.
You are right, Dean. You come into this program with expectations of immediately acclimating and being available and ready to make an impact.
Pressure coming from Thomas. Get rid of it. Drop it over to Staldy. Her sister Talia had been training with the North Carolina Courage. Just got loaned out to a Super League team.
And Dane, first thing I noticed, Georgia started the first half a little bit on the back foot, watching the game, a little reactionary. Let's fill it out. They're higher. They're pressing harder. The line of confrontation is higher. They're not giving the Tar Heels as much latitude to build out of the back.
Emerson Elgin back on the field for the Tar Heels. Couple touches, and again, straight downhill, they'll earn the whistle. Dominguez, what a ball she served to Fossey for the only goal of the game. Just a beautiful ball. I mean, a Messi-like ball. I mean, it was just right on the run.
Well, she does a great job of putting the ball where it's supposed to be. Even on that ball she just played, that was on the corner of the 6. Arguably should have been a player there for her.
Allmark. That final look by our amazing crew, Matt Krause producing, Evan Badler directing, that final look that we just saw before the start of the second half, to me it looked like Allmark might be the only player that was truly offside and had nothing to do with the sequence at all.
Absolutely. I would concur. Another observation, halftime adjustment. This Georgia back line looks much tighter, and that's typically where they found success. Another halftime adjustment they made last week against Pitt. You know, one thing Coach Nahas really wanted to do is try to expand them and create space, and did a very good job of that early in the first half. So we'll see if this continues.
Knocked out of bounds, out of the reach of Devin Winters, the sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, Marist High School. You throw in for North Carolina with the 1-0 lead. A nice crowd here. First home game of the season for the perennial power that is the North Carolina Tar Heel women's soccer team.
Dean, look at this. These freshmen built out of the back with such composure.
That should be a card.
Yeah, it's got to be. Tactical foul. That's the place in the field you want to stop possession, but that's going to be a card all day.
So in reverse, Devin Winters, sophomore.
Yep, tactical foul. They were in a dangerous position, had numbers. Want to avoid the card there, but if it's that obvious, it's coming out.
North Carolina into the 18. And looking for a corner kick. It will be a corner kick. Corner kick, Tar Heels.
Again, another set piece created by Fossey and that relentless motor.
Corner kick coming from Della Rose. Knocked out of there. We'll give Della Rose another chance. She'll get it.
And Olivia Thomas was the target on that.
Played back in by Allmark, number 7. Della Rose will push it. Dominguez, top of the 18. And handled there by Jordan Brown. Sean Nahas saying, quote, "I am really proud of my brother and the opportunity he has earned at UNC. He is someone who has dedicated his life to the game, its growth in the area, and the development of players of all ages. There was no one better, in my opinion, to lead UNC women's soccer into this new era." Sean Nahas. The Nahas brothers done so much, particularly in the women's game. Opportunity for Georgia. The goal is open, and Georgia has tied it. It's 1-1. Just like that, a little bit of a break, and the finish up top. I don't see a flag up. Georgia's.
Dean, that was just clinical. DeTrizio did a great job of holding her run, properly weighted ball through. She could run on two, and let's see this again. Patience on that ball through. She's onside. Great job to sidestep. Slot it in.
Margie DeTrizio, 4 years at Washington State, which of course Kanani McAlpine also spent time before going to Southern Cal. Third team Pac-12 last year, second team in 2022, listed on the SEC preseason player to watch list. A grad student out of Chandler, Arizona, has tied this one at 1-1.
And Dean, she led the team in shots against Pitt. At Washington State, she had 26 goals and 16 assists in her career, so that composure is well earned. All right, so I mentioned this first 5 minutes. Georgia looked a little different. You know, they're more assertive. Let's see how this UNC team responds.
Thomas switches it to Elgin. Elgin, Thomas wanted it back. She'll get it back now. Thomas turns into trouble, defended really, really well. Great job on the back line for Georgia. Staldy. She was a U19 ECNL champ for the Concord Fire at 22. Cindy Armstrong back over to Bella Gattino.
And Dean, we see Torbert coming in, making an immediate impact with that assist. You know, she's working her way back from injury, but been out for a couple of years. But in 2022, she was arguably their most dangerous attacking player when she was healthy.
Elgin can turn. Elgin couldn't get any heat on it. No problem for Jordan Brown.
That was a good job, Jordan Brown, covering that space, even though it didn't have much heat on it. As you said, that was properly placed through traffic.
There's Jordan Brown, the co-SEC Defensive Player of the Week, with those 5 saves and the shutout against the top 10 team at Pitt. Tar Heels sending white jerseys forward. This one hit pretty deep. Dominguez has it taken away by the Bulldogs.
I think that service missed the mark. Just the look. Thomas is always going to be the target on those lofted balls, and she was in position. It just carried just a little bit over.
I like Dominguez. She wins it back. 1-1 as the Bulldogs paid attention to the captain of Cool, Kadani McAlpine. Good message at halftime. They came out pressing and they tied it. Rose. Not enough on it again from Olivia Thomas, the sophomore from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Well, a couple of the offensive keys to the game for Georgia from Coach McAlpine were forcing UNC to defend. You know, creating more space between the lines, and most importantly, selective and properly weighted long balls. We just saw that happen on the goal.
Dominguez picks off another ball. And the Tar Heels send it all the way over to the far side, right side. Wasn't there, so they'll bring it back. Allmark checking back. Throw in North Carolina. 12 shots for the Tar Heels, just 2 for Georgia, but they're 1 for 2. And scoreboard is 1-1.
UNC's had the better in the quantity of chances, but can argue Georgia's 2 chances in quality have been superior.
Elgin, rip and run here. Elgin drops it. Fassi, who has the goal for the Tar Heels, scored the last 2 against the Buffaloes, Colorado, and the first one in this game. Delarose will drop it back to Armstrong. Margie Detrizio has made it 1-1. Forward with some pace. They're looking for Allmark, and then it almost found Thomas.
UNC's opened it up a little bit. They've gone for they're going for the long ball more, whereas first half coming out specifically, it was mostly short. Everything was in tight spaces. It's opened up a little bit, which is somewhat out of character for their game plan. So I expect it to tighten up some.
Great to be alongside Cedric Burke. Dean Linke with you. Beautiful Thursday afternoon. Tar Heels will face Arizona on Linear, ACC Network, Sunday at noon. Then North Dakota on the following Thursday in Seton Hall, as they've got 4 home games in a row before they head over to Durham, North Carolina, to take on Duke on September 5th.
Dean, you mentioned Dominguez and her work ethic. She's everywhere. Great job tracking back to win that ball back again.
It's worth mentioning that Maddie Darlene, who played in the first 2 games, is now gone with the U.S. under-20 team. North Carolina not the only college affected by players joining the U.S. under-20 team, but Darlene, junior forward, named to the U.S. U-20 team, is one of 12 college players on the 21-person roster. Georgia's starting to play with a little joy now.
Joy and confidence. Look much more comfortable in the ball. They look much more in control of the pace of this game. Great halftime adjustments.
North Carolina 2-1 win at Denver. 3-2 come from behind win in Boulder. So they've already shown the ability to fight back. It's tied now at 1s. Armstrong read that one perfectly. Armstrong's going to dribble to almost midfield. They'll drop it to Fassi. Patino, middle of the field to Tessa Della Rose, the junior out of PA, Brownsville High School.
See a much more patient, measured approach on the build from the Tar Heels right now. I just counted. We're at 9 passes and counting between this back 4 in this quadrant before even passing midfield.
They're not breaking lines, though.
No, they aren't. They aren't.
There's one line.
Which is, can be dangerous with the lead. To your point, you've got a 1-0 lead and you slow the pace down a little bit. Sometimes it can be hard to work back into that rhythm.
Detrizio, the goal scorer, coming off for Georgia. Reminding you that in the second half, she can re-enter. Sember checking back into the game for Dominguez. Solid shift for Dominguez that Cedric Burke already commented on. Armstrong back to Gattino. This will fall top of the 18. Good little volley to herself. Played right there by Sember, who just came on. Allmark dribbles into trouble. Kept alive. She'll get it back. Allmark, good ball. On the turn. And the finish. Olivia Thomas has made it 2-1 North Carolina.
Dean, what a great turn and goal, clinical goal from Olivia Thomas. But what I noticed immediately was as soon as Sember got on the field, her urgency to win that second ball kept that attack alive and created another opportunity for her teammates. See again, Sember winning that ball back. Ulrich with a nice interior pass. And Thomas, what a clinical turn, keeping her defender at bay where she can't access the ball. And she slided that corner. And Jordan Brown had that angle cut off. Just a great job of finding that fourth corner.
Olivia Thomas.
She's been working hard for that first goal of the season.
Yeah, she already had a couple assists, including the one in the final seconds to Fossey to beat the Buffaloes. And now gets her goal, so 1 goal and 2 assists.
Dean, you really can't ask much more from a target 9. You know, being able to hold up in that position, hold your position, not allow the defender to access that ball. And that was just a clinical spin and turn where only she could get it. And perfectly slotted ball. Great goal.
Or that impressive Michigan Hawks program. Nice response from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Now Donnie McAlpine, see if he has any answers.
Well, hey, 5 minutes ago we discussed how's UNC going to respond. We see it. So we've got the game on the field, and we've got this chess match over between these two great coaches on the sideline as well. Coach McAlpine looks like is complaining a little bit about that hook elbow in that turn, I imagine. Let him play.
Yeah, that checkup from the talented Olivia Thomas, maybe a foul in basketball, but didn't grab any jersey. Donnie McAlpine not pleased.
Well, there's so many, even her positioning of her body. If she did hook her, she used the right arm away from the ref where it couldn't be seen. So just a very good turn all around.
Well said, Sember. And you're right, Cedric. And even our producer Matt Krause pointed out Sember's back on, and the minute he said it, Sember put her stamp on it and has given North Carolina the 2-1 lead.
Yeah, that was not an easy second ball to win. That was pure energy and effort on her part, and that she created that goal by keeping that ball in play.
Allmark. Not deflected. It'll be a goal kick for Georgia. Georgia came out guns blazing, tied it up early in the second half with the Tar Heels. And their superstar forward, now healthy, the sophomore Olivia Thomas. Their first goal of the season has given North Carolina a 2-1 lead here in Chapel Hill. Yeah, Sember, different level player.
Different level player, different level of intensity.
Georgia trying to build, can't get it by Gattino. I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, but I'm kind of a big fan of Bella Gattino.
I'm right next to you in that fan club, Dean. And you mentioned breaking lines. Look at this team opening this game up. Look at that goal, Dean.
3-1, Olivia Thomas.
I saw 2 lines breaking in a phenomenal finish, Dean. And that will do wonders for her confidence moving forward. Exactly what she needed.
It's a big-time goalkeeper she got it by in Jordan Brown. What a finish here.
You see Ulrich, and then guess who? Sember on that ball through, perfectly slotted. What a great finish with the left boot. We just saw her finish one with her right. This one's with her left. Put in only the place that Jordan Brown couldn't get to it. Clinical finish. You mentioned that one of those turns in the first half looked like a Trinity Rodman turn. That looked like a Trinity Rodman goal right there.
It did indeed. Olivia Thomas. They brace here in the second half to give North Carolina a 3-1 lead.
What a difference 10 minutes makes. What a response from these Tar Heels.
And then from the tactical side, getting Sember back in there. She was
immediate impact.
Yeah, involved in both of them.
Well, and to that point, Coach Nahas really focused on that seam one, which is that space, the opposing team space between their goalkeeper and back line.
Galazzo right back for Georgia as they made it 3-2. Incredible spin and turn and finish from Hannah White.
Dean, I think we have a game. Hannah White, who's known for setting that press, just turned, created space for herself, and just absolutely banged that. Creates the space, gets it on her right. Went back behind the overload as defense moved. Slotted corner, great goal.
Kidane McAlpine talking about how Hannah White sets the pace by pressing. And pressing sets the tone to create opportunities. And we've got 5 goals in this one. First goal of the season for Hannah White. Spent 4 years at Southern Cal. Sergio Gonzalez, good communicator as a referee. I always like the way he talks to the players. You said it best. Said we've got ourselves a game here.
Oh yeah. This is a good one. It's hard not to fall in the spectator move when you're watching such great soccer.
Armstrong switches the point of attack, picked up middle of the park by Della Rose. Here's Armstrong. He's got it back. Sember waiting for it. Armstrong going to make a run herself. A little bit too ambitious, trying to thread the needle to Thomas. Thomas, by the way, broke school track and field records at her high school in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. She owns her high school marks in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and 400-meter. Thomas holds the UNC program record for fastest speed at 7.54 meters. And she's put that all on display here. She's the reason North Carolina has the 1-goal lead. Elgin has it taken away. Good close there by White. She scored the second goal for the Bulldogs.
And she's highly active. She's dropping in deeper and deeper to, as you mentioned, create those press opportunities to win balls back. Tremendous effort from so many players today.
Change for Georgia as Winters will make way for Millie Filson, the junior from Gainesville, Georgia, Lakeview Academy. It's Filson who has it taken away.
Guess who?
Bella Sember. Allmark's got 2 assists in this game. And wow, she can rip it.
Well, one thing Coach Nahas mentioned was she has the potential to be a special player and does a lot of things that other players can't do. We see that on display right there.
Allmark, who assisted on both goals from Olivia Thomas. Sember also getting an assist on one of the Thomas goals. White, good turn on the left foot, drops it into space. Now offside flag is up.
If that ball's played a little bit earlier, maybe a different outcome. Carolyn Smith had to hold up that run and ended up being offsides, but she was streaking wide open.
Halfway through the second half, as they play it back to Gagne, Armstrong runs it down, pinned in a little bit by White.
White again leading that press, making it very uncomfortable for Armstrong to build out.
White, as we mentioned, part of the 2024 SEC preseason watch list. As somebody that has lived in Chapel Hill since '99, this is played forward to Olivia Thomas. Thomas will drop it back, and it'll be a free kick opportunity. When people try to say to me the dynasty of North Carolina is gone because they haven't won a championship since 2012, take a look at this foul.
It's a great job by Fossey filling contact and going down, knowing where she was in the pitch. That's a veteran move right there.
I feel like I need to remind people that in the last 6 years, 3 finals the Tar Heels have been in. They've gone nowhere. They just haven't won the Natty, but they've been there knocking on the door.
Well, anything, it speaks to the increasing parity of the game itself. But yeah, they've been there. I mean, they were what, 10-0-8 last year, and that was considered somewhat of a down year because they tied so many games. But just the standard of excellence that has been set. You're right. Expectations continue to grow every year, but they have not gone anywhere.
Gattino looks interested here. Gattino keeps it down on the ground and scores! Bella Gattino, her second goal of the season, the freshman from Dexter, Michigan, the real deal.
And Dean, that is exactly why you see new age teams. Currently, you see a player laying behind that line in many cases, the wall. Perfectly played ball. There's no one behind the wall. That ball makes it through, gets a slight deflection. That's perfectly played.
But what a weapon to have.
Yeah.
One of your center backs be able to step up and shoot with accuracy.
Center back's dream right there.
So Gattino, second goal of the season. This one coming in the 71st minute. It's 4-2 Tar Heels on top of Georgia. 6 goals.
Put 4 of them in the last 10 minutes.
I kind of like number 8, Bella Gattino. Worked a long time with Evan Badler, our director. He's always a cut ahead of me. Mentioned Matt Krause, Kyle Lovenhofer, Sarah Ellis, Dylan Field, Paul Bean, Hunter Caparelli, Casey McCann, Matt Bachman, Cam Newworth, Connor Buchanan, Caleb Furl, Tanner King, Olivia Mundorf, our outstanding crew here on this very special day. The first time Ann Dorrance has not been sitting on the bench. He's sitting in the crowd, loving it. Now the shade setting in, he's probably loving it even more. Georgia, clearly with that never say die attitude. Well done by Claire Gagne to come out, the ground transfer, pull it out of the air.
Great control of the box from Gagne right there, as you mentioned.
Tar Heels with a 2-goal lead, building it out of the back. Elgin gives it up, and just like that, Della Rose by herself broke a couple lines, but then dribbles it out of bounds. It'll come back to Georgia, who is looking to make a change.
Well, that's a byproduct. If this UNC team can continue to break lines with Georgia pressing more, now down 2 with 20 minutes left, you break one line and it opens up.
Summer Denigan will come into the game. Redshirt sophomore out of Union, Kentucky, transfer from Florida State. Win. A little bit too strong, and no problem for Gagne. Good ball forward. Allmark. Nobody home, far post.
Nobody home, but what a great build. One single pass between the center backs. Find Della Rose as the pivot in the middle. Over the top. Ulrich is in.
Bulldogs tied it early to start the second half. Saw 2 goals going for Thomas, got one back. And another goal. 3 goals in the second half for North Carolina, 2 for Georgia. That's why it's 4-2. Della Rose. Center back Bella Gattino with that 4th goal. With over 15 minutes remaining. Georgia sends it into the box. Headed first by Armstrong, and a foul. Anson Dorrance. Check out these numbers, folks. 22 natties, 22 ACC tournament titles, 25 ACC regular season titles, 19 National Players of the Year, 42 NCAA tournament appearances, 31 College Cup appearances, 28 championship games, 19 ACC Players of the Year, 9 ACC Freshman of the Year, 7-time National Coach of the Year, could have been 17, 13-time ACC Coach of the Year, 34 NCAA College Cup MVPs, 102 first-team All-Americans, 191 All-ACC selections, and 55 World Cup roster selections. Ridiculous.
A dizzying list of accolades.
Well, and we can't forget, he was the head coach of the first ever USA Women's World Cup team that won in China in 1991, as they just absolutely hammered every team they played. He handpicked Tony DeChico, who won it in '99. The Tar Heels trying to get it back to Thomas. Thomas staying with it. Thomas, right foot, left foot, doesn't matter.
And that flag almost went up, but it stayed down. It's a good outlet to found Thomas, but Kate Fossey was streaking down that far right side.
North Carolina going to make a sub. Georgia as well. You see Torbert back in for win for Kadani McAlpine and the Bulldogs. They're making multiple subs. There he is. Penn coming in for Filson. third year now at Georgia for Kidani McAlpine. He went to the NCAA tournament all 8 seasons while leading Southern Cal, winning the title in 2016. He was at Washington State for 2 seasons, got his team in the NCAA tournament. And he was at Birmingham Southern, where he also got his team into the NCAA tournament before the 2 years at Washington State. He's a winner like Anson Dorrance. The man's a winner.
He's absolutely a winner, and he talked a lot lead up to the game about his roots and really building this in Alabama and wondering what he could do with more talent. And we've seen what he's done.
Georgia building in the middle of the field. I liked his take. He said about this game, he said the pressure of winning the game is not as massive as you might think. The loser of this game is going to be okay. It's a big reason to play these types of games early, as it will not be the end of the world if we don't get the win, because we will grow.
I think that's a great approach. It really sets a tone for this team. It's a reason he schedules such strong early season out of conference games. Make sure this team is exposed to everything they're going to see in the postseason.
I'll give you an amen on that one, Cedric. Gave Tessa Delarose due credit for her work in the TST. Let me tell you, folks, back-to-back years, Cedric Burke took his team out of group play in the TST. Cedric, how'd you do that?
We had some fun, man. We had some fun. That is a great tournament in the setting, and just a fun component to be added to the area's soccer profile, and coming back next year.
Going back to Wake Med Soccer Park down the road, home to the North Carolina Courage and North Carolina FC and USL Championship. Home to both the men's and women's college cups this year. TSC stands for the soccer tournament. Massive. Heather O'Reilly, part of that USA team that won it, as we got more subs. Allie Akers, who we understand is the niece to, I think, the greatest women's soccer player of all time, Michelle Akers, who was on that 91 team, the 96 team, the 99 team. Yeah, her Aunt Michelle named the FIFA Female Player of the Century. That was my first exposure to soccer. I was a football, basketball, and baseball player. Walked on the field, and I'm telling you, Akers was hitting bombs from 35 yards and just had a different sound when she hit the ball.
You talk about a hard-nosed competitor. I mean, yeah, everything you just said, I echo.
And then people forget she made the transition from one of the game's greatest strikers to one of the game's greatest holding midfielders.
Yep.
Another sub coming in for Kidani McAlpine and Georgia. As coming out of the game will be Abby Unkraut, sophomore from Burlington, Kentucky, Notre Dame Academy. Coming into the game is Gilbert. Ellie Gilbert, one of the captains, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia, and Westminster High School. Allmark sends another good ball forward. Thomas.
Ashley, I mean, Olivia Thomas rather, is always a threat. Whether it be running onto a through ball, she can get it. We've seen her turn and what she can create.
So Damon Nahas had been with Anson for several years. Handed the interim tag with we'd have to guess, a good chance to win the job. I'm sure that is his focus. And then Kidani McAlpine also has been assisted a long time by Jason Lockhart, who was with him at Washington State, Southern Cal, and Georgia. I think about your Duke Blue Devils, John Kerr and Coach Brady. They've been together forever.
They have. They are joined at the hip.
Robbie Church with legendary Tar Heel Carla Overbeck. 30+ years Carla has been with Robbie Church at Duke. Carla Overbeck, one of the best ever to wear not only a Tar Heel uniform but a USA uniform. There's now a special award given by the U.S. Soccer National Hall of Fame in honor of Carla Overbeck. I don't think Carla Overbeck ever lost a game in a Tar Heel uniform.
That's impressive.
Right?
The dominance of some of those UNC teams, the likes of which I doubt we'll ever see again in the women's game.
Tracy Bates-Leone, who's now on the coaching staff, part of those teams, and was on that 91 World Cup championship team. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left, right down Main Street. Elgin's bringing it, drops it. Still have to be careful. Allmark's got 2 assists and 1 bounce. No problem. Right into the hands of Jordan Brown.
Well, again, the biggest change over the last 25 to 30 minutes for this UNC team as they look to wrap up this win has just been they've gotten back to the intentionalness. They're going right down the middle. There's no mistake of how they're going to attack. They're bringing numbers. They're, again, as Dean, as you pointed out, they're finding space between the lines and breaking lines.
Georgia would like to pull one back and make it a game here. Penn plays it forward. Detrizio wrong side of the goal or go out of bounds.
Detrizio didn't get a clear look off there, but she does such a good job of timing her runs and her body positioning.
Thomas, a well-deserved break. Even Alvarez will come on for the Tar Heels. A freshman from New Hill, North Carolina. As I mentioned, a stalwart for Coach Willie Davis and the North Carolina Courage, winning this year's W League after making it to last year's final and falling just short to Indy 11. They won it this year. Alvarez, the number 27 recruit. Keely Hare was also on that North Carolina Courage team and now is starting for Erica Dombach in Penn State. A little bit too long.
A little bit too long, but we see UNC definitely wants to hold possession these final 5 minutes. Not give Georgia any chance to get back in this match.
Georgia trying to create their own space. Still can. And the shot a little bit too high. Sails over. Shot taken there by Tori Penn. Another one of those Westminster High School greats. There's under 5 minutes remaining as Damon Nahas looking to push his team to 3-0. And folks, this is a legit team that they are beating right now, 4-2. Georgia is the real deal as Damon Nahas still directing traffic over there, trying to close this one out.
Oh, this is a very talented Georgia team. They're going to have a lot of success this year.
North Carolina not making it easy for Georgia to send any balls into the 18. Picked off again by Alvarez. Alvarez is fouled. Allmark with 2 assists in the game. Looks like she could play another 90. As that one's sent over.
Oh, yeah, Dean, they're still pushing. She doesn't look tired at all.
Another freshman here. North Carolina, they did lose a ton of players. Make no mistake about it. Come spring season, they barely had enough to field a team, and little by little, some transfers, some key freshmen, and passed the eye test for me.
Well, 15 new players you had to integrate and incorporate this early in the season. That makes this 3-0 start even more impressive, Dean.
Alvarez had timed her run perfectly, but was whistled for the foul. Arizona, noon Sunday here at Dorrance Field. Up next for the Tar Heels, Kennesaw State will be in Athens to take on Kidani McAlpine's Georgia Bulldogs. As you see, that Arizona North Carolina game will be on the ACC network. They're going to like what they see, I think.
Well, Dean, one of the preseason quotes from this team that I really loved is they want to entertain in a manner that people will come out and watch. Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah, that was one of Anson's final comments. Is it seats 4,000 now, but he'd like to put 2,000 more seats in the end zone, and feels like it'll come. The game growing at such a rapid pace. Sponsors stepping up to support women's athletics, obviously not just soccer, but really everything. The Caitlin Clark effect, basketball. Della Rose, smooth. Fossey with her 3rd consecutive goal back in the 35th minute to give North Carolina a 1-0 lead at the half. Detrizio equalized in minute 52 for the Bulldogs. And then Thomas with back-to-back goals in the 61st and 64th. Hannah White got one back. But then the superstar freshman, Bella Gattino, from the free kick, made it 4-2, and that's where we stand here with 37 seconds left. Impressive performance under really unusual circumstances, right? Like, you just don't expect 4 days before the first game, the legend that is Hanson Doran stepping down and David Nahas stepping up.
Unexpected, but
look at this long distance shot and a sidewinder. Could be the goal of the year. I mean, just out of nowhere, the Bulldogs probably too little, too late, but another goal from Hannah White, and it's a golazo for Kidani McAlpine, a wonder goal.
Dean, both of her goals have been absolutely incredible. It may get lost in this end result, but same thing. She finds space for herself on that right foot. All she needs is a few feet of space, and she absolutely launched that one.
Wow, what a beauty.
What a beauty it was.
4-3. Now North Carolina just trying to hang on for the final 15 seconds.
And to that point, Georgia may have just run out of time.
Counting it down. Della Rose with one deflection. What a game. Two outstanding teams, but it's number 5, North Carolina with 4 goals, and number 16, Georgia with 3.
Dan, what a great game. What an exciting game. What a great game for women's soccer. You know, we talked about the emotion and pageantry of the day, but at the end of it, we had a great soccer game. As Coach McAlpine said, this Georgia team will grow from this. I believe both teams will grow from this experience. What a game.
Fossey, 3rd goal of the season. Olivia Thomas, 2 goals to go with her 2 assists coming in. And Gatino with her 2nd goal of the season. Damon Nejas did incredible work at Next Level Academy, which is celebrating 25 years. And the North Carolina Tar Heels, an early goal from Fossey, no offside. That got it rolling. Then Olivia Thomas with 2 more goals to keep UNC on top. Bella Gatino, the freshman center back, stepped up and took one as well. As Thomas gets 2, Gatino gets 1, and celebrate.